I had a dream that I'm going to share with you guys. I had this dream back in like May, maybe early June. I feel like the Lord's really been putting it on my spirit to share it with a lot of people. And I've shared it with about 6 people that are close to me, including my pastor. And I said it's just really been sticking with me. It's something that I think about a lot. Growing up, I grew up in church. We went to an Assembly of God. I've always had a knowledge of end times, eschatology. Even since a young boy, I still have memories of dreams that I had, even when I was, like I said, a boy, like 9, 10 years old. Vividly still remember. And maybe I'll share that that dream at a different time. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of backstory. And, it's a little bit of a synopsis of my background. I currently go to a Calvary chapel here in Stroudsburg in Pennsylvania. It's in the Poconos, like I said. And, yeah, so I'm going to get into this dream. I was going to take some notes, but it's still so clear in my mind that I can just go through the dream like I just had it yesterday. So thanks for tuning in, and here we go. So I woke up at about 6:30 in the morning, which isn't unusual for me, but this particular morning I couldn't fall back asleep, and when I can't fall back asleep, I tend to get frustrated. So I came out to the couch, I put on the TV, and within 10 minutes of watching TV, I was like, I felt like I needed to go back and lay down. I almost felt like lead to go back and lay down. So I turned the TV off. I went back to my bedroom. I laid back down, and shortly after that, I had fallen asleep. When I had fallen asleep, I was in my car. I was in the car that I own now, and my daughter, Kateri, she's 5, and she was probably a little bit older in the dream, not a whole lot older. And we were driving, and I was going to sell something to this woman that I had not known. It was if I was selling something on Marketplace or something, which I do that. And we pulled in the driveway, and I'd gotten out. We were talking, and I'd seen some things in front of her garage, and we were kind of bartering in a sense, you could say. I was looking to pick up some items from her, and I had something to sell her, so we were working out how we could do this. So with the items that I had seen at her house and the things that I wanted, I ended up owing her money, so I went on Venmo, and it was as if everything was down. Nothing would work. The internet was down. I couldn't make calls. It was as if the grid was just down all of a sudden. It was just like really out of the blue. And it was really strange. And I remember in the dream thinking in my head that, like, oh no, like, this is one of the things that I had been fearing, and one of the things I had been worried about, and one of the things that I hear a lot of people that I listen to talk about, like things that are very plausible that could happen. So in my spirit, in the dream, I felt urgency. I felt like, so we got in the car. We left, and the dream had jumped then to me getting out of the car with my daughter, and there was a shaking all of a sudden, and then like this resonance from an earthquake, and then all of a sudden it just went haywire, and I remember running with my daughter's hand clasped in mine, and I remember like just how real it was, trying to run. The ground was just rolling like waves, and I remember trying to keep my feet so I didn't fall, and I remember my daughter screaming, and I remember what the weight of her felt like as I was trying to pull her and run. It's almost as if you, when you were a kid and you ran across one of those bridges that moved, like those chain bridges. I'm sorry, I can't remember the type of bridge that it's called right now, but it was like running on that. Like I could feel my legs giving out, and like it was so intense and so real. And that lasted for some time. And and in the dream, I knew it was a global event. To me, it seemed like it was a global earthquake, that it affected everybody. Everybody felt this, because the resonance was just so intense and so strong. I can imagine what type of a magnitude of earthquake would cause something like that. And then the dream jumped again, and we were in this dilapidated building, as if it was like apocalyptic, like post-apocalyptic stuff. Like the building was, like I said, very dilapidated, very run down. Just like there was a lot of just like stuff thrown everywhere, as it had just been like shaken up. And I remember I was sitting there, and my daughter was directly in front of me, and there was I think 4 other people or 5 other people in the room, and there was just like we had all been kind of like talking. I don't remember the exact conversation, but we were all talking as far as everybody was just kind of in shock still, and like what was going on. Like everybody was just couldn't believe what had happened. And I remember looking over at my daughter, and this was the hardest part of the dream for me. She was wrapped up in a blanket. I'm assuming, I don't know if it meant that it was cold outside or it was just comfort at that point, but I just remember seeing her just all wrapped up in this big, big blanket, and just her head stuck out. And I remember just kind of one of those things, like you're listening, you're looking back, when you're with your kid, you try to be very aware of what's going on, where they're at, even if they're a few feet away from you. So, yeah, I mean, it was just me kind of back and forth, and I just remember at one point in the dream I looked at her, and it was like I stopped, and then all of a sudden gone. Like when the Bible says that when we're changed in the twinkling of an eye, it felt that fast in the dream. It was tough. In the dream, I was crying, and one, because like obviously she had just vanished in front of my eyes, and 2, because I knew I had missed the rapture, and everybody in the room was up like looking for her, yelling Kateri, Kateri, Kateri. It's my daughter's name, and people were looking around. I remember somebody opening a closet up, like a broom closet up, like near where we were sitting, and they were like yelling and looking and picking things up and moving them. And I remember at one point in time, people were getting angry with me, and one guy got physical and grabbed me. He's like, "Why aren't you helping us look for your daughter? Like, why? Like what is wrong with you?" And I just remember just not being able to say anything, as I was just still like, just wow, like and the feelings and that I felt in the dream were so real. I could feel them now, even as I'm talking to you guys. And again, after that, the dream had jumped. And then at that point, after the dream had jumped there, we were I was in this underground place. It was very dark, very like dismal looking, almost as if we were hiding in like some sort of like a hideout underground, like in a basement, somewhere very dark. I remember there was a lot of like younger kids, but I was like the oldest one there, and I'm 34, and it was as if I was the only one, like the oldest one, and there was all these kids kind of looking at me for answers, kind of like, what's going on, like, do you have any idea? And it was weird because it was all kids that were like ages like 15 to 16 to ages like 20, 21, 22. There's no older people. And I remember then there was an old television set down there, and I remember there was something coming across the TV about like there was this new leadership, there was a new hope about the country, and there was a new like government that was coming. I remember them all feeling hopeful, that there was answers coming to things that were going on, and I remember at that time speaking up, and I began to tell them, like, please, you guys, there's a man that's coming. He's going to rise to power so fast it'll make your head spin. He will be the Antichrist. He's going to try to make you take a mark. You cannot buy or sell if you don't have the mark. And they were like, immediately super defensive. And I remember being in front of these people, and it was probably like, I don't know, 15 to 25 kids, and there was like a quiet clamor amongst them. I felt like I was like at the butt of a practical joke in grade school, when like you're like in the corner and all the buddies and they're all like kind of pointing you and like ridiculing you. That's how I felt. It was so strange. I remember people saying, "Oh, he's crazy. Like he's one of the ones that had somebody taken, like, or like his daughter." I remember saying somebody was like, his daughter was taken. Like, he's crazy. You can't listen to him. Like, you can't. Like he's. I remember them saying I was crazy, and that and again, I remember one of the kids trying to get physical with me, like trying to physically fight me, because I was saying those things, and it was so odd to me. And then at that point, again, the dream had jumped, and we were in what looked to me like a concentration camp. I remember big white long tents. I remember being able to see the fence, the border of the fence around all these tents, and I remember being able to see past the fence, and it was like a very arid, dry climate, almost as if like it had been not burn up, but like all the green was gone. I don't remember seeing any green. I don't know if that means we were in a desert or somewhere similar. I have no idea. But I remember sitting at the table when the dream jumped, and I remember looking down at my right wrist, and I had what looked like I had been checked into an emergency room. It was a bracelet that was very similar to that, and I remember having a plastic spoon and a styrofoam bowl sitting in front of me, and I remember I was eating something out of it, and I didn't even know how I had gotten here, and I felt really, really like super uneasy in the dream, like this like I just had this fleeting feeling like I needed to just get out of the situation, that I needed to leave. Like however I had gotten here, I don't know, but I needed to get out. And I remember the people that were at the table with us. I don't know if some of the kids that were there were kids that were with me when I was in that like basement or underground, that hideout or whatever. I can't remember that. But again, there was no adults. It was mostly kids. And they were all like talking amongst themselves. And I remember trying to give them like nonverbal cues, like when they were talking, and I'm like almost like Big Brother was looking over your shoulder. And I remember having this knowledge that they could hear everything that we were saying. They could see everything that we were doing. And in the dream, I knew that it was the beast system, the New World Order, the global government, the UN army, whatever you believe. I have my personal beliefs, which I won't get into now, but how things will look. But I just knew that it was sinister, and it was terrifying to be in there. And I remember just trying to like whisper to people like guys, like, we gotta get out of here. Like trust me, like we gotta leave. And yeah, and then I woke up. So I believe firmly that the dream was from the Lord. I believe I had a confirmation. It's been weighing on me pretty heavily for a few months now. And the other day I was like tossing it around in my head, and I'm like, okay, like you know how you like almost like second guess yourself, like maybe it wasn't from the Lord, like maybe it was just like, because I studied eschatology for so many years. Always keeping up with prophetic events. I listened to guys like J.D. Farag and Perry Stone and Jack Hibbs and Jan Markell, and I don't know if it was myself. I was like, maybe it's my subconscious, like maybe it's just like me. So then I was watching a movie the other night, and the credits were coming up, and I saw the name Daniel pop up, and obviously Daniel's a very prophetic chapter in the Bible. So I was like, okay, like, I don't know, I just had this idea, and like, okay, God, like, if that dream was true and from you, like, let me see the name Daniel again. And sure enough, within, I'd say, not even 10 seconds, the name Daniel just pops down onto the screen again, and I'm like, okay, thank you, like, loud and clear. So that's when I really decided that I needed to share this dream and get it out. And that's the dream.